All right, so tonight we are going to talk about reading offenses. So we're going to start off by going over our primary defensive play one more time. This is pinch. This is in 4-4. So just a reminder, refresher for you guys, the entire defensive line is going in towards the center. We are pinching in on the center. The outside linebackers are going around the furthest outside person on the offensive line. Our middle linebackers are reading and reacting, so they're taking a couple steps forward and uh, reading where the ball is going and reacting depending on whether it's a run or a pass, which side it's going to, all of that. The corners are getting to the outside to hold that edge in case it's a run to the outside. They're going to be out there holding that edge so that we're forcing them back into the middle to where all of our teammates are. And then the safety is also reading and reacting. So he's kind of the last line of defense against anybody breaking a run for a touchdown or a deep pass or anything like that. So just a quick overview on pinch. We should all be familiar with it by now, but that's just a quick overview and a quick refresher on it. So what I've got here is a few different offenses. So again, we are in the same basic formation. The defense is in this formation. So I want to start off in this formation for every play. So when we are waiting for the offense to break their huddle, we're going to be in this lineup. I want everybody tight and together so that we're not giving away to the offense what we are going to run. So once they get to the line and they get set in their formation, then we can make adjustments if we need to. So you can see here, this is actually our horn formation. We've got three backs along with the quarterback and then a wide receiver on each side. So there's honestly not a lot that we would adjust coming out of this this formation if the offense lines up like this. I would maybe want the corners to move out just a little bit more, just so that they're a little bit closer to the wide receivers. Maybe if the outside linebackers want to sneak out just a little bit, that's fine. But that's about it for this formation. What we're seeing here is that it's likely that the offense is going to run the ball. You've got a couple options out here, but really the core of your offense is right here in the middle. And so it's most likely that they're going to run the ball. The quarterback has three options of who he can give it to. And it's probably equally likely that it either goes up the middle or it comes out to the outside. Like, think about all of the different horn plays that we have. There's a couple that go up the middle, and then there's a few that go to either side. So, again, maybe the outside linebacker comes out just a little bit more in case, let's say they hand it off to the 4 and he comes out here. This outside linebacker is already coming down, is ready to meet him. This corner is going to come down here, avoid this blocker, and either if the runner starts coming up the field here, he can go meet him here. If he continues to go flat and looking for the outside edge of the field, then this corner is going to be out here, making sure that he goes back in. So, for this type of a formation where the majority of the offense is, kind of in the middle of the field, we're going to keep most of our players in the middle of the field. Maybe, like I said, maybe these outside linebackers come out a little bit so that they can cut off that run if it's going to the outside. But for the most part, pretty even. The next play that we're going to go over, now we've got 4 wide receivers out here and only 1 back. So now this is a much more of a pass look. He's got an option at the running back to hand it off, but it's most likely this is a little bit more of a pass look, or maybe a screen pass where maybe this receiver is going to kind of come back here. This Z is going to come out and block the corner. He's going to have a screen pass, and then he's going to try to go up the side. So something like that is what's likely going to come out of this type of a formation. And in this case, again, our corners are going to come out here and spread out wider to match up with those wide receivers. I don't mind you being a little bit inside of those receivers just because, it's okay in case there's a screen pass or something to come in and cut it off. Just remember that your main purpose, especially if it's a run, is to hold that sideline and not let them get to the sideline. So whatever you can do to stay there and be able to protect that sideline is good. You'll notice here we've got two corners that are typically your coverage guys and four receivers. So what we're going to do in this case is our outside linebackers are going to come out a little bit more than they did the last time so that they can help with those receivers there. Now, this is strictly for the purposes of making sure that there's coverage there. If these guys get the ball right off the bat, then these outside linebackers are going to go in. They're going to make that tackle, and I would assume that. So if the 3 is getting the ball here, then my inside backer here is going to come help my outside backer make that tackle. We're going to do like a vice tackle there. If it turns out to be a run, then we swarm to the ball. Let's say these receivers, in all likelihood, one of them is going deep and one of them is going to be shallow in both of these situations, or maybe one is crossing across the middle. Like we talked about tonight in practice, the corners, I don't want them going any deeper than maybe 10 or 11 yards off the line of scrimmage, at which point they will come back into their zone, and the safety will take over that coverage. Now, if we've got two guys going deep, safety needs to make a choice. If you have two possible guys that you could cover and you make the wrong choice, I will not hold that against you if you've got the choice of two. The other thing is my middle linebackers here. If this linebacker decides to go in and try to get to the quarterback or whoever that running back is, my linebackers here have to adjust out, and now our zone coverage looks a lot like this, where this middle linebacker's got this zone, this middle linebacker's got this zone, corner is here, this corner is here, and now my safety is probably dropping back and has really the whole width of the field. So it's okay for these outside linebackers to go in and try to get behind the line of scrimmage to get a tackle for a loss, as long as the middles understand that that's what they're doing and they come out here and they cover for here. So again, it's likely that this is maybe going to be some kind of a screen pass where the wide receiver that's not on the line is going to maybe float out here and get a little bit of a bubble screen. The Z is coming out here to block. If that's the case, then I want this linebacker to read that he's floating out there and go out there. This linebacker can come in and try to make that tackle because this guy's probably just running a regular route. You don't usually see where they have a screen on either side as their option, so it's likely going to be either one side or the other. So some reads and adjustments that need to be made on the fly, but from a lining up perspective, what we're talking about is that the outside backers are going to spread out a little bit, and the safety's got a lot of responsibility on the back end. Middles are reading whether it's a run or a pass and reacting in that way. All right, next. This is a tight formation. This is kind of what we saw tonight, where everybody was bunched up on the line, and it was very obvious that they were going to run the ball. If this is the formation that the offense comes out with, they are running the ball. It's pretty much a guarantee. In that case, and what we saw a little bit tonight is the coaches asking you guys to, if you're at the corner, to come in a little bit closer to the line, maybe 4 yards or so, come down a little bit and come in towards the middle. My outside backers are going to kind of come down here and become almost like additional defensive linemen. So it almost looks like we've got a 6-man front. And my middles, you guys are going to kind of maybe creep in just a little bit as well, because we know they're running, and it's most likely they're going to run straight up the middle. My safety at this point, he can kind of sneak up a little bit as well. The important thing to remember here is that you have to follow the ball. So just filling a gap is not enough when we know that the ball is coming somewhere here. We need to watch the ball and follow the ball. The last play that they ran tonight in the scrimmage, my middle on this side went just straight through the A gap, which is fine if we don't know where the ball is going, or if it's a pass and the A gap is wide open, coming straight through it. Great. In this case, the two got the ball and came up here. This middle linebacker was blocked, and the two got all the way up to the safety before we were able to tackle him. So just guessing and running through a gap, just to run through a gap to close that gap. When we are this close and this tight in, we need to make sure that we're watching the ball and following the ball. And that way, if this close linebacker gets blocked, this middle can come in and make that tackle before he gets down to the safety. So this is a very, very run heavy type of formation. They're not passing out of this. Not at this age. Okay, next we've got an extra lineman here. We've got the three, or we actually have two extra linemen here. We've got the Y and the 3 are up here on the line. X and Z are out wide. So what I expect to hear here is that the cornerback over here is saying, I got two, to let everybody know that there are two receivers on his side and he can't cover both of them. So in that case, what I want to do is this corner slides out to kind of match up with the Z, and want the safety to kind of cheat over to this side of the field a little bit. That leaves this outside linebacker open to continue his normal path and get in there. This outside linebacker can come out a little bit more to take on some of these extra blockers. And this corner, he has no wide receivers to cover over here, right? So we can take this corner and we can bring him in just a little bit as well, and kind of pinch him in on the side as well. Every time you move closer to the center, though, you have to remember that you've got to get back out there to the sideline if this swings out wide. So there's a good chance that this is either a pass to this side, which is why the safety's coming here, or it could be a run to this side, in which case that's why we've got the outside linebacker here, the corners here. This middle is going to come across. The safety is going to have to come all the way across in the event that it's a run. So yes, you cheat over here to have that little bit of extra coverage here, but you need to watch the ball and make sure that if that running back gets the ball on a handoff, you are coming back over here, if that's the direction he's going, to back up this outside backer and the corner here. This is, again, a pretty run-heavy look, but what they're trying to do is spread out the defense a little bit more in order to make them think that they're going this way. By using the safety to have that coverage there, we're giving him time to recover if it does go this side, and we're not using up any of our people that are close to the line of scrimmage. All right, next one. This one's a little bit tougher to figure out because we've got two backs, we've got an X and a Z over here, and we've got one receiver or tight end that's close in on the line. In this case, I'm not going to want to do a whole lot different, except for again the corner is going to say, "I got two, I got two." He's going to come out, widen out on this receiver here. Safety again is going to kind of cheat over a little bit this way. It's okay for the outside backers to come out a little bit to match up with the edges. And the corner, if he wants to cheat up a little bit, he can. This outside backer can come up here a little bit. And this outside backer can come up a little as well if he wants to. Again, same type of plan as the last play. The safety is here to cover a deep threat. The corner is going to stay short. My outside backers are going to do what they do and beat the edge and set that containment. Again, corner, you can come here, you can come in a little bit, but remember that you better get out there to the sideline if it goes out that wide. And my middles, once again, reading and reacting and providing support to the rest of the defense. Now, this look is something that we saw in the first scrimmage. We've got 4 receivers to this side and 1 receiver to this side. This cornerback better be screaming his head off about how he's got 4 people to cover and he's only 1 person. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to shift out. Every time we shift out to cover additional receivers, it's an outside in type of shift. So the corner is the most outside person. He's going to go here. Safety again is going to cheat in. I want the outside backer to come out here. And my middle is going to kind of come here. That middle there. And I like this backer to come out this way a little bit. This receiver is going to come over here. Now, in this case, and only this case, this corner is going to be playing man-to-man defense on this receiver. So this guy, you track him wherever he goes. I don't care if he goes deep. I don't care if he goes across the middle. I want this corner to be on that receiver in this case because we've got a mismatch over here. Even though we shifted over, we've got 3 primarily coverage guys here and 4 receivers to cover. So this guy has to be covered. And a lot of times, like they did in the scrimmage on Tuesday, they'll go over here a few times or they'll maybe motion this guy across and maybe have him run up here, or they'll throw a couple passes to some of these guys, maybe a screen pass here and with these blockers. And then once they've got you thinking that they're going to go over to these 4 receivers every time, they're going to try a deep pass down here. Now, we caught it when they tried to do it in the scrimmage, and Dylan did a great job of covering, and the pass wasn't there. They ended up either taking a loss or just throwing an incomplete pass. Actually, I think Max almost picked it off because they threw to one of these receivers, and it was just a bad decision. So having that man-to-man coverage there is critical. Now, what do they do if they throw over here? If they throw a screen pass, we've got to get this middle over here as quick as possible. Safety is here. Now we have more numbers than they do over here. And so now we can beat their blockers or get through the blocks and overpower them and get to that guy and make that tackle as quick as possible. I would not be surprised if we see either a formation like this with 4 receivers or possibly having a formation where maybe there's a running back next to the quarterback and there's 3 receivers here. We're going to do the same thing regardless. Maybe this middle doesn't shift quite so far over. And then we've got our 3 guys to cover here. Safety will start off over here. But this is going to be a common scenario also. When they run out of this, if they were to have this formation and they run, let's say they run the 2, off here or through this gap or something like that. Um, Now we need to crash back down. My outside backer needs to recognize that and crash down. Corner needs to get through whatever blocks and hold that edge. Middle is coming down. Middle is coming down. All of that, like we normally do, and get to the ball. So we will go over this more. I know that was a really quick kind of demonstration of it. The important thing to note is that we need to be talking all the time to our teammates. The linebackers are probably going to call a lot of the shifts as they see them. Let corners know to shift, talk to the safety, talk to each other about where we're shifting. My linemen, you guys do the same thing every time. When we're running pinch, you pinch in toward the center and you go try to get me a ball. But our linebackers will help out with the calls. Cornerbacks, if you've got more than you can cover, make sure you say it loud so that somebody else can come in and help you guys out. Again, we'll go through this in practice. We'll walk through it, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of where my head's at for how we're going to start off, and at least see how these shifts and adjustments work in the jamboree. And if it works, great, we'll keep doing it. And if it doesn't, we'll make adjustments to make sure that we get something that does work, that is going to work. All right. So first, most important point is that we start off in basically the same formation every time. As we see the offense come out, we adjust and we shift, and we listen to our teammates about where we're supposed to go. And you know, we'll hit it at the jamboree, and we'll figure out what works and what doesn't, and we'll make adjustments from there. So thanks a lot for paying attention and for your time, and we will see you guys at practice. Thanks.